Battle of the Brits team tennis event proved hot both on and off the court. First up, we saw women's singles out on centre court as Jodie Burridge came through against Beth Gray to get the Jacks off to a winning start.
Well, the momentum is firmly with the Union Jacks.
Still up, 7-5, 6 love.
Whilst over on court 1, Naomi Brodie sealed the win over Eden Silva to bring the Jacks within 3 points of the Bulldogs. Over on centre court, it was more success for the Jacks as Jamie Murray and Lloyd Glasspool beat Dominic Inglot and Alistair Gray to trail by 1 point.
Two very contrasting sets. The tie-break proved to be crucial.
6-2. Cam Norrie turned things around as he fought back from a set down against Ryan Peniston to give the Bulldogs their first 2 points of the day.
Norrie, 7-5, 6, 10-8.
Heather Watson was in red-hot form as she cruised to victory 6-1, 6-love against Maya Lumsden in the heat of the day.
Game, center mat.
Heather Watson keeps it rolling.
2 sets to love, 6-1, 6 love.
Mixed doubles was up next on court 1 as Liam Brodie and Harriet Dart had a straightforward win over Katie Boulter and Lloyd Glasspool to keep the points coming for the British Bulldogs. It was third time lucky for Kyle Edmund as he got the win over British #1 Dan Evans. Kyle held off a late fight back from Dan and closed out the match 6-3, 6-4.
Oh, he's made it. And is he giving himself maybe just a lifeline here?
Edmund leads by 5 games to 3.
Game,
Kyle Edmund gets his revenge on Dan Evans here at the National Tennis Centre. A quality display.
Last match saw Cam Norrie and Joe Conter take to centre court in a bid for 3 points against Jamie Murray and Olivia Nichols. In an entertaining match, Cam and Joe worked well together to get another set of points for the Bulldogs and end the day 41-32 in their favour.
What a rally! What a finish!
Conter Norrie. Game.
What a way to close it. Fitting that it should be with a Conter ace. That first serve has been so good this evening. And just at the back end of the day, the British Bulldogs have pulled away.
Dogs! Eviction day, dogs!
Well, that was a look at all the action from yesterday, but today, the first match out on court 1, Jan Choitsky taking on Alistair Gray. And to follow a rematch for the ladies' singles, Jodie Burridge lost to Emma Raducanu a couple of days ago. Can she get her revenge? And then doubles with Barnett and Nichols taking on Dart and Gray. And the first match out on centre court is a singles match between Katie Boulter and Beth Gray. That's worth a couple of points. And again, the men's singles, Anton Matusevich, the youngster, going to have a crack at Kyle Edmund today. Dan Evans back out on court. Well, this is a rematch of a rematch against Cam Norrie for the third time this week. It'll be worth 3 points. Men's doubles, Andy Murray, Lloyd Glasspool against Joe Salisbury and Kyle Edmund for 2 points. And the final mixed of the day, the big guns, Jamie Murray, Heather Watson, Liam Brodie and Harriet Dart. So that's what we have coming up today, and with the scores fairly close, the captains really do have their work cut out to try and grab those points today. So they have been sharing their thoughts with Abigail Johnson.
From the British Bulldogs yesterday, and then the Bulldogs pulled away. So do you take away more frustration that you got that close and it fell away, or more encouragement that you were within touching distance?
Well, more encouragement, because you got to look at it. After 3 days, we were 17 points behind, and then we were 1 point away from leveling the tie. We still got 2 more days to go. I'm still confident we can turn this thing around today, as well as on Sunday.
Well, it's been a long week. Do you think we're close enough to the back end of the week that it will give the players a little extra kick of energy to get through the last 2 days?
Well, exactly. So I'm expecting a big day today. You know, we definitely need to find a way to win today. We need to get a few points on the board, and then going into Sunday, if we're only maybe 3-4 points behind, we'll be in good shape. So I think the team's got a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, and they're going to play well.
Is there a match today that stands out as a key one for you to get on the board?
Well, I think Dan Evans today is going to be important against Cam Norrie. He hasn't beaten Cam in the last 2 meetings. Yesterday, Edmund played great. Dan was a little bit flat and wasn't allowed to play. So I'm expecting our vocal team member to get the job done. That's going to be an important match for us.
Thanks, Greg. I'm going to throw it over to Leon Smith for the British Bulldogs. It was slipping away yesterday. What was the match that turned it around for you?
Well, you know, at one point I think it was 7-0 to the Jacks, and then actually Penistone was, I think, 6-2 up in the breaker, which would have sealed a real big upset. And then that match turned, and then suddenly a bit of momentum. You know, I think day 5, I think it was natural the energy just dipped a little bit the last couple of days. We all got off to an absolute flyer across the first 3 days, but we came back really strong, and that's really important, getting that momentum into today.
Well, I know you're proud of all your players, but is there one player in particular that's either surprised you or really impressed you so far this week?
No, it is a big team effort. You know, I think Cam Norrie's gone undefeated so far, which is a heck of an effort. I mean, he looked dead in his feet yesterday, so hopefully he can come out. He's got a real tough match against Dan Evans today. He's got a great record, 2-0 against him this week, but Dan's got a lot of pride, as we know, and I think he's going to come out firing today. So Cam's going to have to be ready for it, but one big push from Cam today.
It's been some really hot conditions over the last few days. Is that a benefit to most of your team members, or is it something that they're up against?
They're pretty used to it. I mean, you know, I think a lot of them quite enjoy playing the heat. It's something they're going to have to get used to. Those ones that are going to head off and play US Open, they'll actually get a lot out of playing in those sort of conditions here, which is good for them. It prepares them really, really well, because they've played actually quite a lot of indoor tennis in the weeks leading into this. So to get outdoors, hot conditions, and even a bit blustery conditions as well, getting used to that is really important.
Thanks, Leon.
Thank you.
So a little look ahead to today. Some cracking matches coming in. As mentioned, it really was a scorcher yesterday, just cooling off a little today, but definitely a bit blustery, so some conditions for the players to deal with. You can see them here just ready to go. Beth Gray in your picture. Katie Boulter in the background. I have to say Beth Gray most definitely the underdog for this one. Boulter with a huge amount of experience, but Gray really has been playing well through the week. She's got a lot of matches under her belt over the past month. Had a good crack at Heather Watson yesterday.
Just slow down a little bit, guys. That's it, just tight.
So just a little pause as the court gets set up. A couple of stragglers from the team still warming up, so once they are done, the players will make their way onto centre court. You can see Alistair Gray in the background, and Jan Choinski. They'll be nipping over to court number 1. We'll keep you up to date with that match. And there is Katie Boulter, yet to get a singles win on the board this week.
Okay, let's go, guys.
And here they come. Much more palatable conditions today. And here's Abigail Johnson to welcome them on court.
Here to launch day 6 of Battle of the Brits team tennis for the British Bulldogs, it's Beth Gray. And for the Union Jacks, it's her birthday, it's Katie Boulter.
Yes, happy birthday to Katie Boulter. She would love to get a win on the board to celebrate. I think most tennis players are pretty used to celebrating their birthdays at various different tournaments around the world. But when we have normal schedule, normal times, you tend to be at the same tournament every single year for your birthday. So a unique one here for Boulter. 24 years old. There is Beth Gray. She really has earned her opportunities this week, was given a crack at Heather Watson yesterday. Pushed her really tight in the first set, and then Watson did just start to run away with it in the second. She's such a solid player, and we're looking to get stuck into Katie Boulter in this match. So we've got lots of different rules in terms of the water. Players had their own ice boxes yesterday because they needed them just alongside because it was so hot. Got up to 36 degrees. And it would have felt a little bit hotter out on the court.
Yep.
So alongside me for this one, I'm joined by Arvin Palmer. How are you doing, Arv?
Very well, thank you, Naomi. Looking forward to this one. Should be a good matchup. Actually, a good, nice contrast in styles. Boulter very aggressive from the back of the court. Beth Gray, a good counter-puncher, moves well, takes the ball on nice and early, so she'll be looking to use the pace of the Boulter ball.
So Katie Boulter electing to receive, putting the pressure on Beth Gray just for the first game, asking her the questions. Boulter, of course, the far more experienced player here. 2 points available for this one, with just 9 points in it. That is fairly crucial. First match of the day here at the National Tennis Centre. So, what about the birthday girl, Katie Boulter? She's had some difficulty of late. You can see the ranking down there at 374. That was a large part to do with the 6 months she had out last year with the stress fracture in the back that she picked up at the Fed Cup. But that's all sorted now. She seems completely fit and healthy. She was coming back to play just before lockdown actually ended up coming into force. She was out in Indian Wells playing the Challenger there. She did pick up a big win over Anna Blinkova, ranked 60 in the world. So signs that the game is still there, just needs to get more matches under her belt.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think when you've had such a serious injury as well, you're a little scared to return to the court as well. That must have been slightly worrying for her. You know, the back, lower back stress fracture, it's the engine to your movement, and there's nothing really you can do. So there must have been a lot of rest and rehab and slowly getting back into things. So it's good to see her back out on the court, looking for her first singles win this week. She's had a couple of good run-outs, a close match against Jo Konta. Hopefully the body felt good after that, even though she took the loss there, but encouraging she's back out on court competing. More relief than anything, I think, Naomi.
Yeah, and here is Beth Gray, who has not actually had struggles with injury of late. She's been playing a huge amount of matches, basically the maximum amount of matches she could possibly play since the domestic event started up against, playing a lot in St George's Hill. Yeah, speaking to her coach just yesterday, or a coach speaking to us, and 27 matches in 27 days. That is pretty impressive. So she's match tight. That's as tight as you can get. Well, she's in good shape, and as I was mentioning, ranking a little bit lower at 600. 604 it is currently, but she's been chipping away at that, and of course, as you see there with the serve, she is a lefty. Now, do you think that will be able to cause Boulter some problems? Yeah, I think always being a lefty just poses its challenges for the opponents. You know, you don't always play against left-handers. Majority of the time you play against right-handers. So just getting used to those spins and different angles.
Ladies and gentlemen, Katie
and,
Boulter won the
Boulter was out here earlier
this
morning warming up with Greg Krzyzewski, so she's got her eye in it a little bit, but was a little tricky when the umpire calls time. But yeah, she's certainly proved herself at the ITF level in doubles as Beth Gray, so she's looking to step it up to the next level at some stage, get herself consistently competing on the WTA tour. That is the plan. She's been impressive this week. I've liked the way she's gone about her business. She comes across as a very hard worker, diligent, dedicated. So hopefully she can put in a good performance here, the underdog here, so that's always nice as well. Expecting her to win a match like this, so the pressure is all on Boulter's shoulders.
So the first match of day 6, getting to the crucial moments here. At the beginning of the week, it seemed like such a long way to go with the Bulldogs with a huge advantage. But this is a new matchup. We haven't seen this so far this week. And this will be a challenge for Boulter, I'm sure.
Cheers.
Words of wisdom from Judy Murray.
Prepare to come forward and take it out there if you feel confident to do that. Perfect. And be good to yourself. Yeah, talk positively to yourself and
Jeremy Bates in the top right-hand corner, Katie Boulter's coach as well, so she's got double whammy of advice coming at her, but they've been communicating well. You can see that Judy Murray trying to be as positive as possible for Boulter. Jeremy has worked for a number of years now with Boulter. Has been a large part of her
First
rise
set.
up the rankings, career high of 82.
Sarah Beth Gray to serve.
It will be Beth Gray to get things going.
Like.
So just to give this match a little bit of context in
Last
terms of the
15.
relative experiences, we've looked at the different rankings and there is a little bit of a gap at the moment, but of course we know that that Boulter ranking isn't really reflective of the level she can play. Beth Gray's best win is against Isabella Shinnikova, ranked 270. It's no surprise that was on the carpet. I'm sure she was enjoying the lefty swingers off of that surface. And she has beaten a number of players kind of around that mark, top 300 sort of level, but she doesn't get the opportunity to play top 100 players if you can't get into those big events. And that's where this tournament is so great for the players like Beth Gray, just to get a chance. She played Heather Watson, a top 50 player yesterday, and now Katie Boulter.
Yeah, it's nice to see where your game's at, even though Boulter hasn't played a whole lot. She top 100 player. I'm sure she's going to make her way back up to that sort of ranking and some. You get a clear idea as a player, as a lower ranked player, the type of things that you need to improve on when you're playing at upper level, a couple of notches. And how does my serve hold up against the better players? What's my intensity like from the back of the court?
Serve not faring so well in the opening few points, as Boulter's got a few break points.
And once again, it's tricky conditions out here today. Breezy, swirling around, so something that players are going to have to really think about. The good news is that it's a lot cooler. It's kind of low to mid 20s with this breeze as well. It's a nice temperature. Yesterday was extremely hot throughout the day, cooled off a fair bit in the evening, but that heat certainly not here today.
Didn't really seem to affect the players too much. I think it affected the support benches because they didn't want to just sit in the sun all day if they had a match to play.
Yeah, at one stage there were more supporters using ice towels than the players at the change of ends. They were being dished out.
So that is an opening break in that first game. Tough for Beth Gray. The serve doesn't have a huge amount of pop on it. It does have that beautiful and really tricky lefty slice, but she was against the wind down that end. It just sat up a little bit for Boulter to get a look at, so a nice start for the newly 24-year-old.
It suits her game well if she's not going to hit her spots and the percentage is just a little low for Gray. Boulter's an attacking type of player. She attacks on the return of serve. Confidence player as well, Boulter. She can get on a bit of a run in matches, clocking a few winners. Backhand up the line is good.
Katie Boulter to serve. Love.
And for Boulter, when that injury came in, really it felt like she'd only just established herself in the top 100 and done that hard work. And it's such a tough move, isn't it, from kind of 200 into the top 100. You have to win a high volume of matches.
Ironically, that was probably part of the problem, wasn't it? And part of the issue there is because she played so much, and it was actually, if I remember rightly, it was off the back of Fed Cup as well, wasn't it? Where she played a couple of really tough singles. She won the match a little injured, and it was after that match that she didn't play until November.
She does have a protected ranking still to use, as she had more than 6 months out. Saw her use that a couple of times earlier in the year, playing in Adelaide, then the Australian Open, where she lost to Alina Svitolina in the first round. But it was 4 and 5, and it was actually a really strong performance from her. She then also used it in Acapulco. You have to be smart. You don't get unlimited chances with your protected ranking.
40-15.
But do you think, Arv, it's just a matter of getting back out there, getting a full year under your belt without any injury, and she'll be back up in the top 100?
Looking at her game, yes, I think that hopefully is the plan. That is the case. I haven't watched a whole lot of Katie over the last couple of years, but from what I have watched, I'm impressed with the way she strikes the ball.
Oh. 40-30.
But you don't want to rush things either. You know, with a back injury like she had, a stress fracture, you don't want to re-injure yourself. So, you know, you've got to be careful. Don't overplay. May just have to look at the schedule a bit. If you start to do really well and you're winning a bunch of matches, building that confidence takes time as well. Expectation levels, you've got to manage those.
It is something that's really hard, though, isn't it? We see a lot of players get it wrong. I mean, even somebody as experienced as Bianca Andreescu came back too early coming to the French Open. She injured herself again, overplaying in Indian Wells and Miami. Of course, picking up the title in Indian Wells.
You've got to listen to your body.
Took a long time out. Didn't want to miss the French Open, so came, but that was too early. Had to pull out after winning a match there. It's not a straightforward thing to get right, especially when you're young, because it takes a while to get to know your body, I suppose, and what is a problem and what is something you play through.
Yeah, mentally it's difficult as well, because you're sometimes a little scared out there. Am I going to re-injure myself? So you just hold back a touch and don't 100% commit. It really is a fine balance.
Yes.
Gray putting a bit of weight on her shot. She doesn't necessarily have the flat strike that we see from, say, a Boulter or a dart, for example. She puts a lot of work on the ball. That really means that her lefty forehand jumps off wide of the court. Can be difficult to get your head around. Boulter just waiting for the breeze to settle.
Let's first serve. Advantage, Boulter.
You can see Gray is really trying to pepper that deep return through the middle and try and get it underneath the feet of Boulter. She's got it right once and it really worked, getting the error.
Diaz.
You can already hear some of the support from the sidelines. Dom Inglot, Liam Brodie, nice and loud, cheering for the Bulldogs, and Beth Gray. Also got Dan Evans out right on cue, saying here we go Bolts. Pretty much the three loudest supporters, I think, of the week so far, all together.
Dan was losing his voice yesterday, one stage.
Yeah, so they decided to bring the foghorn in. It was a wonderful surprise for us.
That's good ball striking from Boulter, hitting through the wind. On the front foot, nice tight position on the baseline.
Not quite getting the serve firing in this game, Boulter. It's been a real strength for her since she started back at the Progress Tour. That was 2 weeks ago. Those were her first singles matches after lockdown.
Yes.
Make sure that she keeps driving up, using the legs on that serve, especially the second serve.
You know, when she did start those first matches in the Progress Tour, you could feel sort of the rust on her game from the back of the court, the decision-making a little bit. I mean, the strike was still there. Just a couple of details.
Advantage,
It's a nice combination, opening up the court nicely. Classic play, isn't it? Wide serve, yeah, attacking into the open court.
But the serve really did keep her in a lot of matches. She had to dig out the final. She played Jodie Burridge. Burridge was serving for the match in the second set. Boulter managing to turn things around, using all of that experience. Nice aggression from Gray.
Yes.
Ball just slightly lower and skidding through. Likes using her opponent's pace. Early strike.
Advantage, Gray.
With the way that Gray plays, so solid from the back of the court, really great counter-punching, good movement sideways as well. She really is going to ask questions of Boulter, and Boulter will have to find a high level to try and get through her. Boulter did well just to keep that defensive shot down low. It was tough for Gray to really attack. She'd done a good job of getting herself up the court.
Advantage, Boulter.
That's a shame. A lot of good work there from Gray. Turned that point around, defense into attack, but just lacked the execution there at the end.
Yeah, yesterday in her match against Heather Watson, she was getting herself into good positions in that first set so often, just couldn't quite get that final blow in.
Game, Boulter.
Well, just
Boulter
managing to
leads
scrap
2
her way
games to
out of that
love.
game. It was hard fought. 11 minutes and 29 seconds to get through that one. It was a crucial game, so she maintains the break up to love. But already she'll be well aware that to get through Beth Gray, you really do have to work hard, put in a couple of extra shots, and you've also got this wind to contend with. Boulter dealing well with the low slice there from Gray.
Extra footwork required on a day like today. Herself in perfect position. Stayed alert there at the net. Driving forward after this. Realised that wasn't going to get it done, but reacted quickly.
That's that lefty swing. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to it. Body serve coming into the right hip.
Oh. 15-30.
Don't quite get hold of the ball, it's going to fly. Wind gets hold of it. It's gone, so you've really got to get the contact, you've got to make sure you get the spin that you're looking for.
It's impressive footwork from Boulter.
15-40.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeremy Bates would have told her, come on, 5–10% more footwork today, these sort of conditions. You have to almost have the feeling that you're overdoing it. It's Jeremy. Been with Boulter a while now.
Game, Boulter.
Yeah, and nicely done in the end, a more straightforward game for Boulter. So she nabs the double break against Gray, but she hasn't had it all her own way. Had to really work hard for her service game. It will now have the wind behind her.
Yeah, a little harsh as far as the scoreline is concerned early on here. Doesn't deserve to be 3-love down.
That's why I'm talking about more around convergence of the footwork to get behind the ball. Yeah, really look to absorb it, especially when it's coming through. You can deal with it. You can deal with it. Yeah. On the return serve, when you get the second serve, you've got to come up one way or the other. Yeah. Ideally, preference. Your preference?
It's ice towel, I guess.
Move forwards. Okay, well then do it. Yeah? And if you miss,
time!
But let's miss long or wide, not in the net. Okay? Here we go. Come on.
And Kyothevon with a bit of coaching, saying Gray just needs a little bit more urgency with the footwork, but she can absorb the pace.
Yeah, I think the overriding sort of message is aggression, isn't it? You know, get that strike in, commit to the shot, and take time away from Boulter.
Round 15.
It's nicely played there from Boulter. It's quite
15
ambitious, but she really committed to the height. Playing it from quite far back in the court, but I think that just shows how confident she's feeling right now.
Yeah, looking for that soft bounce as well. Not too bad. It's quite tough, I think, playing a drop shot off a drop shot.
30-15.
She's got the wind behind her as well, which also can make things a little tricky when it comes to the drop shots. Sometimes easier to play it into the wind. You can really kind of cut it and the wind will help hold it up. Well, it was the big backhand down the line that did the damage. Gray just losing the positioning on the court.
Well, I think it was the right idea on the return of serve, but didn't quite get hold of it. A little short. Ideal start for Boulter here. Just what she was perhaps envisaging before this match.
Well, this is the second birthday we have this week, isn't it? We had Harriet Dart a little earlier on. I wonder if she's going to get a little piece of cake and a happy birthday sung to her like Harriet Dart did, because I managed to actually eat that piece of cake because they're all of it because they're all finely tuned athletes and none of them wanted to eat it because they're in the middle of a tournament, so can't eat this. It was actually Rocky Road. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, so it came my way.
Well, that's what you tell us. I think you intercepted.
Sniffed it out.
all. 30-15.
Judy Murray, got to be pleased with how this has gone so far. It's been 4 years since Judy Murray was the Fed Cup captain, but from what I've heard from a number of players, they've been so happy and just excited to have her on the bench, and the information she's been passing on has gone down really well, especially with some of the youngsters. She's very positive, but she's happy to tell you what's what if it's necessary.
Advantage, Boulter.
That's a constant pressure she's putting on Gray from the back of the court, pushing her back.
And it's difficult in these situations, especially if you are the underdog and there is such a big gap in the rankings. Once the more experienced player gets confident, gets a bit of a gap with the score, start opening up.
Build a little bit of confidence for Gray, just to win those sort of battles, those slightly longer rallies. A little bit of belief. Yeah, that's a good serve. Nice and accurate.
Gray.
Swing to it as well. That's a nice change up.
Yes.
Short cross from Boulter, taking a little bit of pace off it, more about accuracy. And then she's able to really step on this one nice and early, well timed.
Such a clean strike she possesses. Just stepping across that on the front foot, leaning through it with the shoulders.
That's a very natural looking shot she has on that backhand wing. That's injection of pace. You can't defend against that. Such a good angle.
Yes.
Really important for Gray to just get this game on the board, just to settle things down. Feel like she can convert. We've seen a lot of good tennis from her and good points, just hasn't quite been able to convert it to the score ticking over.
Advantage, Boulter.
That's the shot I'd love to see Gray really add to her game, because I feel like her building shots and creating opportunities are really strong, especially with that heavy lefty forehand. But it's then when the opportunity is to really put in a big blow. Seems to be kind of a similar tempo to the shot before, and you just want to just up it, really get the racket head through loose and let go.
Yes.
A little late on that one. Very tricky out here. Yeah, her finishing shot, it's a different story.
Advantage, Boulter.
Again, given the opportunity, she just does not hold back. She's got the strike, she's got the injection of pace. Fourth forehand winner for Boulter, the forehand.
Game, Boulter.
It's good striking. It's aggressive
leads,
tennis
5 games to
from
love.
Katie Boulter. She's looking pretty calm and confident out here. Yet to drop a game. 5-love.
Yeah, they're in the, I think they're in Judy. I think they're in that plastic.
Yeah, because we didn't really like it. I think it should be fast or rush. Just buy yourself a little bit of time that gives them nothing to hit.
Time.
Prepares the pace. But keep doing what you're doing and keep working hard with these. That's the key to everything, I think.
Yeah.
Playing great.
You guys, come on.
Yeah, good dissection of the counter-punching game by Judy Murray, saying just remember, look, everything's going very well, but just remember that she does like the pace. So if you keep going with that one tempo and aggressive tennis, she will be able to counter-punch well. Throwing in that higher ball, mixing up the pace, playing with variation, gives her nothing really to use and redirect.
Love.
seen a lot of good work from Gray, haven't we? But just hasn't been able to hurt Boulter.
Yeah, just took the words out of my mouth, really. It's just so many good exchanges from Gray, good rallies, but just not winning enough of them. But that was a slightly different class of rally there. Just different sound to those ground strokes. Just sounded as if she was just taking a little bit more risk, bigger strike. She's going to have to do that, you feel. The way Boulter's playing right now, is playing very solid and executing well.
That last backhand winner on the previous point was her first winner of the match so far. And that's what I was talking about before, just really letting the hands fly through, just loosening up, flattening off a bit and getting that extra bit of zip on the ball.
Currently taking the ball on a little more. Boulter, 23% of the time inside the baseline. She's playing her tennis. Gray, just the 4%. So a big differential there.
First serve.
In her match against Watson in the first set, which was quite tight, she lost at 7-5. She was playing a lot actually up the court. Once again being forced too far back by the strike of Katie Boulter, and it's been a very tidy set for her. And now has a point to close it out.
Cheers.
Second double fault. Super return.
Advantage Gray. Game Gray.
Drop shot not getting it done that time, holding up far too high. And Gray does get on the board, had to face down a set point. Do you think that in terms of Gray's positioning that you were talking about, Arv, is that to do with Gray dropping back, or is it because the Boulter strike is much pacier than, say, Watson was yesterday?
Well, I think, as most things, it's probably a combination of the two. It's just making sure when she's got the opportunity to get herself up the court that she's up there quickly and she's looking for that slightly shorter ball and trying to take the ball on the rise a little more when possible. She has to get that first strike in and try and get control more of the rallies. I mean, she's getting into rallies, but she's not doing enough with the ball, ultimately. You have to play outside your comfort zone. Do a bit of defending as well, because Boulter does hit a big ball, so you're going to have to step back and just buy yourself a little bit more extra time on occasion. If you feel like you've got time on the ball, you've got to make the most of it.
It's a superb drop shot there from Boulter. Such a great element to her game with such a big flat strike. To be able to just throw in that drop shot, you can see there, Gray just kind of back behind the baseline, waiting to absorb some more pace.
Ooh. 15-30.
Tell you over on court number 1, Jan Choitsky will be out to serve for the first set over Alistair Gray. No relation between the two Grays. He's up 5-4.
Ooh. 15-40.
So with that pulled forehand wide, Gray facing a couple more set points now. Well, it was unfortunate to end like that for Gray, that particular set, but on the whole, Boulter really had her number. Fabulous striking, really dictating, a more aggressive player. She takes the first set 6-1.
Yes, a good balance found. The opening 40 minutes for Boulter. He's patient from the back of the court. Some winners. Good variation with the drop shot every now and then as well. See Gray struggling behind her second serve points one, just 18% points one there, so she seriously needs to up that accuracy behind the first serve, especially in the left court. The ad court needs to be a little bit better as well. Plenty of breakpoint opportunities for Boulter, 8 in total, and converting 50% of those. And Gray, you can see there, too many unforced errors. Cornerstone of her game is keeping those unforced errors nice and low. 16 compared to only the 2 winners as well for Gray.
So Boulter, halfway to a birthday victory. Needs to continue more of the same, I think. A strong first game requested from Judy Murray.
Yes, maintaining this level that she's found right now. Doesn't need to try and overplay or try and think different. Stick with it until you're proven wrong.
Oh.
15 love.
One came out of nowhere. That depth is just too good. 4 shots in a row. Gray just was off the back foot, getting pushed further and further back behind the baseline. High quality stuff once again.
40 love.
Gray just unable to penetrate whatsoever. Boulter dictating from that central third, having everything her own way right now. Judy Murray asked for a strong first game, and I think that was exactly what she was talking about. Very tidy from Katie Boulter.
She's hardly put a foot wrong this afternoon, Boulter. This has been an impressive display. She's done a lot of things very well. Copy and paste as far as she's concerned in this second set. One of those things that she's done well today is return Gray's serve effectively. You can see the length that she's been able to keep on return. She's made a lot of returns, winning a lot of points. 18 of 21 points won when she's made that return of serve. Boulter, constant pressure for Gray. She's going to have to try and find ways of countering that. Here's Beth Gray. Better serve required, more accuracy required.
Love.
Well, what can Gray do in this situation because she doesn't possess that extra little bit of firepower to maybe hit through? Is there anything else she can look at?
Yeah, I think she's got to look at a variety as well. I think she's got to start perhaps thinking about using the drop shot as well, just to try and break the rhythm of Boulter. Throw in a couple of higher balls as well, just to try and disrupt the timing. Use some angles, being a lefty, use that forehand cross court, short cross, pull her out of court, and then inject some pace into the open court. Oh, that's a little unlucky. Did well to keep the passing shot as low as she did, but nothing you can do about that. Time for that sort of pass. Most times, get your opponent volleying up, but as we've seen all week, dead net courts. Not the tightest of nets this week.
Leg for serve. T15.
That's very well done, well watched. Boulter coming forward like that. Gotta pick your spot and be aggressive. Keep your eye on the ball.
Good aggression once again. Boulter way up inside the baseline. Gray scrambling around near the back fence.
She's been good in the forecourt. 6 of 7 points, 1 at the net.
Maybe that's something Gray could look at doing, trying to come forward. I mean, her doubles rankings are much higher. Oh, her ranking is much higher than her singles, up at 207 with a career high of 143. We've seen her out in doubles action this week. But to try and get forward from the position that we've seen her in so far behind the baseline that's not really going to happen. Has to get those feet further up the court.
Can we see this one, please?
Boulter thinking that was out. Oof, 1 millimeter.
Advantage, Gray.
Just clipping the edge. This would be a big game to hold for Gray, just to stay with her, keep the pressure on.
Game, Gray.
Yeah, she does well to come through that.
One game all.
Would have been in real trouble if Boulter had been able to stretch ahead and start thinking about the finish.
Ooh. 15 love.
Yeah, right off the baseline.
30
Can
love.
confirm over on court number 1, Jan Choinski took that first set 6 games to 4 over Alistair Gray. Yeah, that's well played.
30-15.
High forehand going cross court and then the injection of pace down the line.
If she can start winning a few more of those tight rallies, it's going to cause Boulter problems. Footwork excellent there, really lining that forehand up. That's well measured. Just taking her time on that final forehand, not rushing in and snatching at a drive volley, just letting it bounce and knowing she's got the weight of shot, get it through the wind.
Game, Boulter.
Yeah, another strong game for Boulter on the
Boulter
board.
leads 2-1.
And Gray doing a good job just to stay in touch, get the scoreboard moving, but it still feels very much in Boulter's favour as she's up a set and 2-1. quite a lot of action around the courts. You can hear in the background things on court 1 going, some support over there, players practicing as well, some of the outside courts. Nice towels are back, and for Beth Gray, she really does have a fantastic attitude in these matches. All about working hard and staying positive.
Especially from this end, you've got to give it a bit more. You're against the wind. Yeah.
Time.
Come on, here we go.
No words from Anne Kyothevong saying, got to give it a bit more. She did say specifically from this end into the wind, but I think all round needs to just get a little bit more juice on the ball. Jodie Burridge watching on. We'll see her in action later, as we will see Dan Evans there on the left as well.
Love 15.
That's when you definitely look down at the court and look at the dodgy bounce that you may have just had.
All.
She's really got to dig her heels in here, and it can sometimes feel like a bit of an overwhelming task, can't it, when you need to improve in terms of the unforced errors, you need to improve in terms of your aggression, you need to do more with the shot. Almost feel like every area just needs to have a bit more on it.
Going for more though, comes the risk. Struck it well, just a little unlucky.
Yeah, players tend to like it when they either need to, okay, do I need to be more consistent or do I need to be more aggressive? They like it kind of clear cut. Really is very rarely that black and white. And sometimes coaches saying you need to do both.
Yeah, that's the return of serve that's worked well for Boulter today. Not taking on a whole lot of risk, just hard and deep up the middle of the court.
Game Boulter. Boulter leads 3 games to 1.
The unforced errors coming in there from Gray. And Boulter just nudges out now in front, a set and a break.
Oh. 15 love. Love.
Boulter looking strong, just pushing Beth around. I think she'll be pretty happy with this performance. It's been tough for her through this week in her singles. Took a bit of a stinging loss on the first day to Emma Raducanu.
30-15.
averaging 7 miles an hour more off the forehand for Boulter compared to Gray. And oh, that's nicely done.
30 all.
Makes all the difference in the world when you just get up onto that baseline, start leaning forward on the ball.
Getting through the wind and getting out the middle of the strings. About 6 miles an hour on average more off the backhand wing for Boulter. There's not a whole lot you can do from back there. It's just defending, trying to hang in, force Boulter to play one more ball.
Boulter returned to tennis after that back injury in November last year. Started off playing some 25Ks.
Game, Boulter. Boulter leads 4 games
And
to
it looks
1.
like Gray is running out of options here, as Boulter is getting closer to wrapping this one up comfortably.
Nice work, Boulter. Another break yet.
Just more of the same. Get greedy, as you could probably hear Kieran Vorster, Dan Evans' trainer in the background, was alluding to there. Make your life a little easier.
Just breathe, relax, have fun, enjoy it.
Enjoy the challenge.
Exactly.
Do I not look like I'm enjoying it?
Fun?
Do I not look like I'm enjoying it?
No, I'm sure you've had easier days. You know. It's all right. Come on, we're right here with you.
Yeah, it is a tough day at the office for Beth Gray at the moment. A great opportunity for her, though. And that's it. You know it's going to be a big challenge walking onto the court. Captain Anton saying, enjoy the challenge.
Well, that's superb. Just been simply one step ahead of Gray throughout this match. She's winning in all categories, length of rallies. Those rallies won under 5 shots. Slightly ahead of Gray, those slightly longer rallies going Boulter's way. Over 9 shots, 12 points won. Just 3 for Gray.
Left serve.
It's medium length rallies as well, 5 to 9. It's 18 for Boulter and 9 for Gray. Gray's had better success on those rallies under 5, 26 to Boulter and 17 to Gray, so she's done pretty well in that area.
Love 30.
Just can't quite find the balance, can she? And a lot of that is because she's under enormous pressure from Boulter. Every time she tries to get a little bit more on it, like they're going for the depth to do some damage, just missing a little long. Just seems to be either too passive or the unforced errors are coming in. Just nothing in between.
18-40.
Good play, good length. Able there to come forward. Just hasn't been able to get herself to the net enough due to her court position and the quality of Boulter's strike.
Let us serve. Game, Boulter.
Yeah, just beaten for pace and quality from the back of the court there, and Boulter out at canter. Now serving for the match. We talked a lot about what maybe Gray could try and do to disrupt the level that Boulter's put out onto the court, but it's been a good level.
Love.
She has not let up for a second. Remember, this match worth 2 points. Boulter representing the Union Jacks. Might be able to get them off the mark first here.
Dirty love.
Oh, so clean, so effortless. Boulter really has showed her class through this match. Really raced away now. There's a few match points.
Oh. 40-15.
Second match point for Boulter.
Oh. 40-30. Yes.
Well, Beth Gray still making Boulter work for this. This would be the first singles win for Boulter on the board this week. One just wide as well.
Gray.
Gray with an opportunity here.
Yes.
That's a nice response after losing 4 points in a row. To shut the gates here.
demonstration of the athleticism of
Advantage, Boulter.
Beth Gray, who says her alternative career would have been a gymnast. But not quite good enough to hang in that rally. Boulter has another chance, fourth chance to close out this match.
Left first serve.
A dominant display from Katie Boulter, showing her class. A very tidy performance indeed. And a couple of points on the board. She takes the win over Beth Gray. And the Union Jacks are off the mark first here on day 6. She comes through 1-1.
Yeah, super performance from Katie Boulter. Really didn't put her foot wrong. Just a little slip up there towards the end, 40 love up, but no bother, kept her composure. And saw that match out in the end.
Great job. Cheers, boys.
Really good.
A lot of positives for Katie Boulter.
Just wanted to play a bit longer in that last game.
I mean, I'm honestly retarded. What is wrong with me? Concentrate.
Just play a few more points.
Yeah.
Well, Boulter maybe not racking up the hours on court.
Really? Okay.
But getting the win all the same.
You know, and,
much to think about for Beth Gray.
Yeah, a little harsh as far as the scoreline's concerned, you felt there for Gray. She was in a lot of games, a lot of rallies, longer rallies, but she just wasn't coming out on top enough of the time. A few too many unforced errors you can see there in the Gray column. 26 in total, just the 4 winners for Gray. Wasn't really forcing enough errors out of Boulter's game either. Boulter's numbers looking pretty healthy. First serve percentage, good. Points won behind the second serve as well. It's impressive. Anything over 45% or so, you're doing very well. She created plenty of chances throughout that contest. 11 break points and converted 6 of those, and 16 winners for Boulter. That's a good number. Well played.
So let's hear from the winner. She's with Abigail Johnson.
Katie, first and foremost, happy birthday. It's your big day today. You'd had a couple of close losses coming into this match. So how much did those 2 factors combine to motivate you to get across the line here today?
I think I had a tough couple of days. You know, obviously I was just set in 3 love serving against Joe, and I've got to close the door there. And I thought I played some good tennis today. I just wanted to come out and consolidate. Yeah, I was happy with getting the win today, and that's all I really wanted.
You got some serious momentum going out there. What were the keys to that, do you think?
I think I started well. You know, I just tried to keep it in the court. You know, the other matches I kind of have swung a little bit more. So I just wanted to get back to basics, make the court and make her work for every single ball, and I think that really helped me today.
There was a 6-deuce game in the second game. Could you feel how significant that was in the wider context of the match?
Yeah, that was massive. I thought I got a little bit sloppy and she played a couple really good points, but that was huge. I really needed to hold on to that game so I could hopefully have another go at getting a double break.
You've been on the bench a lot this week. How are you enjoying the atmosphere and the environment of this event?
I think it's awesome. You know, we don't get a chance to play in a team event very often, and you know, to have everyone else there supporting you really does make the difference sometimes. And yeah, I think, you know, we're a strong team and hopefully we can come out with the win this week.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Congrats
Thanks.
on this one.
Thank you so much.
Well done, everyone.
So Boulter getting the win on her birthday and on the board for the Union Jacks, just narrowing the gap ever so slightly and looking very good indeed. Rather straightforward victory there against Beth Gray, 6-1, 6-1. So we've got more tennis for you. Of course, the second match of the day, albeit the youngster Anton Matusevich is 19 years old, taking on Kyle Edmund, who'll really have a crack at that. Kyle Edmund, the heavy favourite, of course, for that particular singles battle. So as you can see, we're here at the National Tennis Centre. Our hosts, the LTA, have put on quite a show for everybody to enjoy. So let's hear from them.
Over the last 6 to 12 months, we've really tried our very best to invest in the facility, invest in the tennis centre, really try and bring a lot of innovation to the centre, really upgrade all the court surfaces so that the players, most importantly our very best players, feel that they can get the best possible preparation for all of those major events around the world. It only really does truly come to life when all of our players are here training and sparring with each other, and in this particular instance competing too, which is absolutely fantastic to see.
I think this week's been incredible. I think just the atmosphere it's created, seeing the players like Andy, Joe, with Grand Slam experience, world #1, high-ranked players, there with the next generation of players coming through. I think it just showcases British tennis, and I think it's a great launch pad for their careers.
Amazing opportunity here at the NTC for me and my team. Very challenging, obviously, with the procedures we've got in place to ensure everybody's safety. My team have worked hard, we're enjoying it, making the most of it, and it's great to see everyone having a good time, enjoying themselves.
Hadi was fun. I love that girl because she's a happy, kind, nice to everybody. When you see everyone need to say hi, hello, I'm happy. And then it's a comfortable this place, no stress with the player. They are very good, I'm happy.
We, the LTA, have always run a successful British tour calendar throughout the season. Obviously this year in the environment we've been working with coronavirus, we've had to adjust how that's operated. But in a funny sort of way, it's given us the opportunity to work with partners like Jamie and yourself in bringing new innovative formats and giving really interesting opportunities for our players to play and hopefully our fans to engage with and watch. Furthermore, our LTA youth program that we've been working on over the last 6-9 months, all of that content is available online, and tennis at home really can live and really can exist. And actually it's fantastic to be recognised by the Department of Education now as the only national governing body to have online resources approved for use through primary schools across the country. So it's available to anyone in that way, at school as well as at home.
Yeah, I think one of the things about the centre here, I think it's a really inspirational and aspirational facility for young children and adults as well to come and train in. The facilities here are world class, and it's very unique in the fact that, we have sometimes situations where the kids will be training, within a court or two of looking over, and you've got the likes of Andy and the other players, around, and it makes for a really just incredible training environment for everyone.
I would like to see, Battle of the Brits or national championships or a whole series of events like this take place, not just for the rest of this year, but in years to come as well, to make sure we've got, exciting, innovative formats for our players and our fans to engage with.
Well, great to see that feature video, and so many people working hard behind the scenes here. Shout out to Mary Greenham, Jimbo Thorpe, Jack Ross. They've been busy all week interviewing people behind the scenes. It's all made Battle of the Brits possible, and they've produced some beautifully crafted features, so credit to them. And the LTA and all the staff here have been working so hard, not just this week, but previously, to put on these events in a safe environment for the players, and I know that's been greatly appreciated. And here are the players for the next match. Nick Lester introducing them to court.
First onto court for this men's singles for the British Bulldogs, the British #2, Kyle Edmund. Followed closely for the Union Jacks by 19-year-old Anton Matusevich.
Let's go the Jacks!
Good weather today, I like it. A bit of wind. It's nice.
Well, the first 2 points today went the way of the Union Jacks. Katie Boulter storming to victory to open up on centre court, and that might give Anton Matusevich a little bit of motivation as he takes on Kyle Edmund for the second time this week. They faced off on day one. Edmund the victor on that occasion, but here's a shot at revenge. Outdoors, it was indoors they faced off last time as the rain took us inside, but he has a shot in some conditions that may well suit his game. And this man, the British number 2, Kyle Edmund, came through a good one yesterday over the British number 1, Dan Evans, so he'll be feeling good with that in his pocket. To take you through this one, it's myself, Abigail Johnson, alongside Naomi Cavaday.
Same form as your last matches, and because of the heat again today, we are sitting down. Yeah. Any questions? Heads, tails, anyone? Yeah, tails. Tails.
This side.
The familiar figure of James Keothavong in the chair. Kyle Edmund chooses to serve. Anton Matusevich chooses his side, and we're off on centre court. 2 points on the line here in this clash between Matusevich and Edmund. Penultimate day of the tournament, so much on the line, and every point counts. Really heating up here at NTC. This could be a big hitting contest. Matusevich can generate some real firepower off that forehand wing. Kyle Edmund on our near side at the moment. We're going to have a look at his opponent first of all, 19-year-old Anton Matusevich, one of the younger players in the field here. He's been quite active over the past month at British Tour events at St George's Hill, and we've seen him in action a few times already this week. Won 1, lost 2 coming into day 6. It was straight sets loss to Edmund on day 1. A really tight loss to Liam Brodie on day 2, 12-10 in the match tiebreak. But then on day 4, he notched a win on the board, taking down Aidan McHugh 6-3, 1-6, 10-6. To my memory, Cav, he wasn't entirely convinced by his own performance in that win.
No, but he got told what's what by Judy Murray after that, as you do. But no, it's important for the juniors to, I think, understand that part of things. Like, okay, he didn't necessarily play as well as he wanted, but he got a really strong win over Aidan McHugh. It was a bit topsy-turvy. It was tough conditions, but that is what being a tennis player is. You cannot play well. I mean, you can't play well all the time. To be honest, you can't play well most of the time. So you just have to make do, and he did a really good job of that.
Yeah, big stuff from him, and a big task on his hands with Kyle Edmund, who looked pretty imperious yesterday with that 6-3, 6-4 win over Dan Evans. It was revenge for his loss to Evans on day 2, which was also in straight sets. Won 4, lost 1 coming into day 6, so he's been a key player for the British Bulldogs, and particularly impressive with his consistency and his commitment yesterday. Evans was getting really frustrated at times just because he couldn't get through Edmund, and he wasn't missing. Everything was finding the court, and it wasn't
1 minute.
It wasn't complacent rallying either. He was staying on top of the ball, he was getting his balls deep, and even from away behind the baseline, he was managing to get the finishing shot, and that really wound Evans up yesterday.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I think things looking fairly good for Kyle in terms of looking ahead to when the season kicks off again. Really interested to see how he goes. Of course, has just so many weapons, but for him it's all about just that range. Is that forehand firing? Is the serve popping? Does he know where he's playing his shots? And when that is all on point, he looks very good indeed.
Yeah, he'll be looking to carry on that momentum. He's going to be in action later on
Kyle
today
Edmund
as well.
won the toss and chose to serve.
We'll be partnering Joe Salisbury in the doubles for the second time this week. They had a brilliant victory on day 3 over Jamie Murray and Dan Evans.
Done.
Ripped that ball. I think we have to give Anton Matusevich some credit, not just for his work on the court, but his work at the side of the court. The ball boy supreme. He's been there every other match that he's not actually been competing voluntarily for both sides. I think people are starting to take it for granted that he's just going to be there handing them the balls, so shout out to him. You can see another sunny day, but a bit blustery so far for the first couple of hours of play. So who do you think is going to struggle with those conditions more out here?
Well, I think really just comes down to experience, doesn't it? And for Kyle, can't really see how that is going to hugely impact him. He's played in something like this many, many times. And for Matusevich, I think everything can affect him a bit more. Anything that might be a little bit more tricky, just because he has so much less experience out on the court and less mileage.
Here we go then. Time for the second match of the day on centre court.
First sets. Kyle Edmund to serve. Ready, play. Love.
Definite taste of what's to come there.
Yeah, it's a big forehand, isn't it? Let's be fair. It's, it's one of the biggest around. Okay, you got to give the title of biggest forehand on tour to Del Potro whenever he manages to actually compete on the tour. But Edmund is not far behind. Definitely top few big forehands. And it can be intimidating, especially for a youngster, but if we know anything about Anton Matusevich, it's that he is not easily intimidated, full of confidence. I'm sure he will relish this opportunity to give Kyle a crack.
Let's first service.
And he's got a heck of a forehand himself, Matusevich, so are we going to see Edmund deliberately targeting the backhand as much as possible?
I think so, yes, but also that Edmund will back himself in the forehand cross-court rally. I don't think he will be overly concerned. But there are weapons galore on this court. If you like yourself a big serve and a big forehand, you've come to the right place.
That's for sure. That's a big boost for Matusevich early in this one. Getting that first winner locked in.
all.
Yeah, he's going to rip into those shorter balls, Edmund. It's been a while since he's played this much in 1 week, and I think he's really warmed into his top form.
encouraging from Matusevich there, just hanging on and taking the ball early as Edmund generated the pace, making him play the extra ball, and it paid off.
Advantage Edmund. Game Edmund.
And it's the hold on the board for Kyle Edmund to get us going on centre court. Let's talk about strategy for Anton Matusevich. He's already faced Kyle this week. Does that make this a more difficult task for him because Edmund's had that opportunity to get used to his game style, or is there something to cling on to with hope that with the conditions moving outdoors, there's a little bit more opportunity, it could benefit his game a bit more?
Yeah, I think the element of surprise is gone, really, isn't it? But then the Matusevich game style is quite straightforward. I'm not saying that it's simple to play against in any means, but it is, as you say, he has very obvious weapons that he's going to be looking to utilise a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, anytime you've had a run out against somebody, no matter what the situation, it's always going to help. Just something to refer back to. You can just figure out what worked, what didn't, what got in his head.
And obviously Matusevich plays much of his time year-round on the ITF circuit, so that was a huge match first up against Kyle, and maybe he'll just feel a little bit more settled coming into it this time around.
Anton Matusevich to serve. Love.
Yeah, just a little look into the background of Anton Matusevich, if you haven't seen much of him before. It's a strong sporting history in his family. His dad was a very successful basketball player, although he skipped over him in his little bio when he said that his sporting idol was his granddad.
Oh, favoritism.
Granddad Edward Matusevich was a speed skater. He won gold in the European Championships in 1965. Was an Olympian, came 6th. Competed in a couple of Winter Olympics.
40 love.
Can't get much more different between speed skating and basketball, can you?
No, but if you put them together, do you end up with tennis? I'm not sure. Don't think it works like that. But
not quite.
The performance mindset very much in the family of Anton.
Game, Matusevich. 1 game more.
Well, pat on the back, Anton Matusevich, a love hold in response to Edmund edging out that first game of the match. Great depth on his shots. He'll be looking to use that serve as much as possible, just put himself on the front foot early. Going the distance out on court 1. Alistair Gray for the Bulldogs and Jan Choinski for the Jacks, locked in a match tiebreak.
Love.
That's what he can't afford to do. Shorter ball sitting up for Kyle Edmund. He's got it on the forehand wing. That is pretty much point over 9 out of 10 times.
Out. 15-all.
But when he's got a bit more depth on his shots going into the forehand, it's going to stand him in much better stead. That was a well-placed return. Oh, terrific stuff from Kyle Edmund.
30-15.
The serve pushing Matusevich right back behind the baseline. He noticed it immediately into the body and was ready to rip that next ball. Oh, brilliantly done. Fantastic positioning on the return from Matusevich. Standing inside the baseline to take it on, set him up for the rest of the rally. So deep with that forehand to take some pressure off with the finishing drive.
$30-40.
Well, an early opportunity.
Yeah, good work from from Matusevich, putting pressure on the Edmund service games. Hasn't got enough quick points in this particular game.
Maybe a bit too close to take on that second serve. It came with kick, launched into his backhand. Liking the confidence, though, from the teenager.
There's one behind the scoreboard. Advantage Edmund.
Well, that's one way to knock up a 3-point. Brutal down the tee. We're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff from Edmund. He's very focused. And that was the match on court 1 coming to an end. Jan Choinski getting across the line again. I think that's 3 singles wins on the trot for him. 10-4 in the match tiebreak.
Game Edmonds.
So So Edmund comes through
Edmund
and
leads by
averts
2 games to 1.
a little bit of danger. Important game for Kyle.
Yeah, well, both the service games that he's held have not been completely comfortable, just working his way in. Matusevich doing a good job of making him play, trying to keep it on that backhand side. Edmund maintaining control. Captain Anne Kyothevong on ball duty. Coach Colin Beecher just behind and up a little to the left as we see it. With some words of wisdom.
Time.
Yeah, they were out hitting side by side earlier, Kyle Edmund and Anton Matusevich. Matusevich hitting with Dan Evans.
Love 15.
With Choinski's win, the Jacks now just 6 points behind the British Bulldogs again. I think they were 6 points behind coming into yesterday. They got 1 point away, and then the Bulldogs grabbed the last 10 points of the day to end it on top. Really is too close to call in these last couple of days.
Love 30.
Yeah, just a bit too much pace there to run around that one. And Matusevich, much like Edmund, is always looking for in that central third of the court to be taking on the forehand, but that just tucked him right up underneath his feet. Too difficult off that ball. And a bit of a window here for Edmund to get the advantage.
$15-30.
It's about as much frustration as you're likely to see from Kyle Edmund most of the time, just bouncing on his toes, betraying that he's a little bit disappointed there. Oh, that's more like it.
15-40.
Yeah, you can just see the difference in levels and experience just coming out, specifically in that point. After the serve, you see Matusevich up inside the baseline looking for a short ball, and ordinarily the matches he'd be playing in ITF circuit, he might get one. Not against Kyle.
30-40.
It's difficult as well. We see this a lot. A game where you haven't quite been able to break through, and then you're immediately under pressure on your serve.
Juice.
And that's a terrific response. Big, wide serves of both sides.
And when it comes to the regular circuit, the highest ranked player Anton has taken on was ranked 313, so quite different to the top 50 player of Kyle Edmund.
Advantage Matusevich.
And it just shows, again, what a fantastic opportunity this event is. How often do you get to see players of this kind of ranking and potential, like Emma Raducanu, who's on the screen, getting to take on and play with the very best in the country? We've got top 100, top 50 players.
Yeah, Matusevich.
Oh, needed the little bit more
2
lift
games
on that
off.
backhand. Shake of the head. He knows he missed a chance there, but that's great grit from Anton Matusevich to come through a tricky game after he'd been unable to break through, having had chances.
Yeah, Emma Raducanu's great friends with Anton, both from the same neck of the woods. Both had the same coach, actually, at one stage. Happened to be my big brother, Nick.
Yeah, you've had a keen eye on some of these coming up.
15 love.
Both from Bromley, playing for Kent. Well, Anton's not from Bromley, he's from Sevenoaks, but he would train at Bromley.
Got to make sure we get the specifics nailed down there.
It's a pride of Sevenoaks at the moment.
Wow, great stuff from Matusevich. He put Edmund in a really awkward position just when it looked like he was going to win the point. He was in a dominant position, Edmund. He'd done everything right, lined up the backhand, and then just at the last moment decided that this ball was actually going to find the court. So he had to catch it, just scoop it back in, and Matusevich was able to take advantage of that slower pace. And in the end, Edmund overhitting.
Yeah, nice taking that early. Just rushing Edmund on the forehand side, and that's really what you've got to try and do. Either get him off balance with width or really rush that wing. If you don't do either of those, you're going to be on the receiving end of quite a thump.
Oh, he knows that was a chance. Was that the right move? Should he have chopped it deep into play?
I think he had a couple of options there. You could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's the sort of thing that he would quite like to get working, to be feeling good.
Oh, killer blow.
Yeah, it was such a good return, but then he almost overran that next shot because he was expecting it to go into the pace, and actually Edmund dragged it centrally, and then he was back in a neutral position.
Yeah, he jammed up to his body. It was a really defensive slice, and Edmund makes no mistakes with that on his off forehand. Oh, well, they had the open court, but Matusevich flung all his momentum on the stretch into that forehand. And Kyle wasn't quite expecting it, wasn't quite ready, didn't have the control.
Advantage Edmund.
Well, that is some weapon to have in your pocket for the moments when things get tight, and no service game has been straightforward for Edmund so far. They've all gone to juice, every Edmund service game, all three of them. The disguise on the forehand is so good with his positioning around it.
3 games to 2.
Can drive it into any possible direction. And once again, he squeezes through to keep his nose out in front. Intriguing opening few games here on centre court. Matusevich seems to have taken a lot from that day one meeting with Edmund.
straight at him, and don't ever be afraid to take a bit of pace off, because he doesn't want to be in long rallies today. You can see it. He's looking tired after a long week, and you're just going to be an absolute pain in the ass to him. Keep chasing everything down. Yeah, take your time, be smart. Watch on your ball toss on the serve. It's a little bit far forward.
Forward, okay.
Yeah, it's forward, so that when you hit it, you're like that, so a lot of them will go in the net.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, we're going to have a look at match point from next door on court one just previously.
You're doing great. Doing great.
Jan Choinski notching up another singles victory.
Game. Set match Choinski. 2 sets to 1. 6-4, 4-6, 10-4. Thank you.
Big stuff for Choinski. He had a break yesterday, but back to his winning ways. Big hitting, tough to contend with, and he can well fist bump at that. And back to centre, some interesting words from Judy Murray to Anton Matusevich at the change of end. She said, don't be afraid to take some pace off. She can see that Kyle Edmund is tired, that he doesn't want to be involved in the long exchanges today because he's played a lot. He'd played 5 matches coming into this one, and they were high intensity clashes, so no doubt he's going to be feeling it a bit.
Love.
He doesn't want to be taking any pace off that serve, though. That was huge into the corner.
All.
Great pace and depth.
And there is Anton Matusevich, the elder.
The basketball one, right?
Basketball player, of course. Not good enough to be Anton's idol, though. Got skipped over.
He's
missed a few returns, Edmund, and it might root back to what Judy Murray was saying about he doesn't want to be involved in as many longer exchanges today, so he's going for a touch more on the return just to try and get on the front foot more quickly.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that and then also playing Matusevich. He wants to kind of really put that stamp on the point early on, gain control. He doesn't want to mess around with Matusevich being able to wind up for a big forehand.
Well, that's a shame. He had his teeth into that.
30.
And Edmund has been pretty successful with his wrong footers in these early days, but that time Matusevich was onto it, so he'll be disappointed to let that rally go. Leon Smith having a break there.
Oozing with confidence that Kyle's got this under control for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he certainly looks happy about the scoreboard at the moment. Oh, that was some serious pace that he injected into those last 2 forehands.
This is just so much racket head speed. Got 94 miles per hour off of that final forehand, and the amount of whip over the top of it, the control, the weight of shot. As I mentioned at the beginning of the match, it's just, quite honestly, one of the biggest forehands out on tour. Definitely when he made that push up to the top 20, winning a lot of matches, it was absolutely huge.
Game Edmund.
Well, it's good practice for Matusevich, but he
Edmund
won't
leads by
be
4 games to 2.
appreciative of it at the moment, because that's the break in the bag for Edmund. And that's where it got a bit dangerous for Matusevich, because he was doing well, pushing Edmund on serve again and again and again. But if you can't quite get across the line, then you've played him into a bit of form on the court. He's had a little bit more time to figure things out, and you know, he was still playing catch-up, Matusevich. See if Edmund can consolidate.
We see there Matusevich just clocking. We know that Edmund really loves that forehand inside out, and he just lent in that direction, and maybe that put the pressure on and forced Edmund to go for a little more. So important with the big hitters that you are always closing the gaps down. Big hitters like big spaces, and if you can make those small, and especially if they're getting smaller as they're setting up for the shot, can be very off-putting. That's where you can get a little burned against Edmund. See there, Matusevich trying to take the ball on, so he put his positioning up inside the baseline, but it does leave a big gap on the court. You have to nail that return, otherwise Edmund will be able to just thread it through that slot. He's an interesting character.
15-30.
Anton Matusevich, he's the sort of person that he likes to be good at everything. Just being good at tennis is not acceptable. He likes to really excel when it comes to schoolwork or anything that he tries his hand at. Actually hasn't necessarily wanted to take too much time off school or miss anything, because he just doesn't want to sacrifice what he's able to achieve at school. He's saying, no, I'm not falling behind in school, I'm going to nail it.
Well, that makes a change.
But it's not like he was kind of he's very smart. It wasn't like he was ever going to look at falling behind significantly.
Great move from Edmund.
And you could see there, Matusevich just couldn't get it over on the backhand side. Okay, it was on that half of the court, but that's not good enough, really, because Edmund will take pretty much 4/5 of the court on his forehand if he possibly can.
He's so quick with his decisions to move in. Can't always see them coming. Makes it difficult to deal with. Good use of pace from Matusevich on the final forehand. Edmund had made the decision to back up after the backhand, knew there wasn't enough on it, but not quite enough. There's never a break until it's consolidated, and Matusevich has an immediate chance to get back level here in terms of getting back on serve. Oh, carefully finished.
Juice.
Matusevich flung everything into that rally. Just at the last moment there, I don't think he'd quite stretched Edmund out enough to warrant a move up to the net. It came back at him pretty quickly. He was forced into the half volley, which then gave Edmund the time for the put away.
Advantage Edmund.
Backed off to take the return that time, and it almost paid off, but a lot of kick on that.
Yeah, it sounded like he actually mishit that shot, catching a little bit of the frame.
Game Edmonds.
Well,
New
once
balls,
again,
please.
for the 4th time this match, Kyle Edmund survives the deuce service game. He's now saved 3 break points in total. And that 5-2 scoreline doesn't entirely represent the match that we've seen so far on centre court.
I definitely feel that there's a real challenge from the Matusevich end. If he can just find a way to string it together at that high level, might get a bit of a breakthrough. Judy Murray on hand to help out.
And we're going to speak to Judy Murray. How impressed are you with Matusevich's attitude out here?
Oh, he's great. I absolutely love him. Well, actually, I love all of my team. He's a great kid. He's got a great engine. He chases down everything. He's just relishing in this whole, being part of this whole environment. But, you know, he's got a lot of firepower. He sometimes rushes things a bit too much. He goes too big when he doesn't actually have to. But he's still very young, and I think that if he can learn to build the points with a little bit more care and then release the firepower when he's in a good position, I think he could be a very dangerous player.
And do you think this set is still possible for him at a breakdown now on the scoreboard?
Well, there's nothing in it. You know, he had a couple of break points that last game. He has to take care of his serve here and look to try and break Kyle, obviously, in the next game. But I think Kyle's looking a little bit tired out there. He doesn't want to be caught up in the long rallies. So Matusevich got to work hard, keep him out there, get in his face, be a pain in his butt is what I've told him to be.
Thanks for that, Judy. Thank you.
Love 15.
Yeah, we've been hearing some really great advice actually from Judy on the bench. Real insight. We heard at the previous changeover, she said keep pummeling the backhand and then go deep to the forehand. She really has a game plan lined up for him here. Bit like that.
Oh, yeah.
15 all.
Judy's going to enjoy that one. Yeah, I think she has a really clear vision of where Anton would be able to go with his game over the next couple of years. And as we can see, the firepower is there, the shots are there, so many elements. It's all about bringing it together, understanding how to use it. And as she was saying, he doesn't need to panic, doesn't need to rush the big shot. It's easy to feel like you need to rush it, particularly when you're playing against somebody like Edmund, who has huge weapons of his own, because you're just worried if you don't get your shot in first, then he will. But as long as you can maintain the heavy quality, you can stop him from doing that. And also helpful if it's on the backhand.
No. 40-15. .30.
I think Judy's really getting stuck in with all of the players, as she said, but did just get a hint that she has a particular soft spot for Matusevich. But I think Matusevich has responded really well to her advice through the week. She had the notepad out a couple of changeovers ago, pointing, scribbling things. I think she really feels like she can get stuck in and make a big difference, and Matusevich is absolutely receptive to it.
Okay, can we have that last call on centre, please?
I'm just having a look at this one. Waiting in suspense. Quite a big game, this.
Oof.
Doesn't get much closer than that.
Does have that feeling, though, of a much tighter set than the score.
100%.
I don't think Edmund will be feeling entirely comfortable.
Advantage Edmund.
And Matusevich just got to be ready for that once again, expecting a bit of a shorter reply, but Edmund getting a nice strike and suddenly he's on the back foot.
And that came in quick, and all of a sudden, Edmund has not just a break point, but a set point. There it is,
Game
the reaction
set.
from Edmund as well as
Edmund.
he clinches the advantage.
By 6 games to 2.
So much trouble he had on serve during that set, and yet he still nailed it down 6-2. And in a way you can say, well, he'd have liked to have come through those service games a bit quicker, but impressive from him that he could edge a set that was that tight by such a convincing scoreline.
Quick at him. You know, it's like he wants to go back quick.
Bit panicky.
Like he doesn't want to lose advantage in the rally. Wants to like maintain it, but
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit on hand skills as well. Not, you know, it's quite high. Well, you would. Saying that, when you land a return on T mark in the baseline, it's not easy.
Yeah, interesting to hear that the Bulldogs bench picking up on exactly what Judy Murray was saying down to Anton Matusevich, that he's panicking a little bit, just trying to rush and force the issue, and you can understand why. But Edmund recognising that actually if he can just keep him in a neutral position, that the error might be coming. You can see there 8 unforced errors from Matusevich, the same as Edmund has thrown down as well, but of course far more winners from Kyle Edmund and plenty off the forehand. But that was not an entirely comfortable set, even though there were a couple of breaks there. Matusevich had some chances.
He certainly did, and it makes things very interesting heading into the second set. You can see a little bit of relief from Kyle Edmund to get that one in the bag. But he will start this second set on serve as a result of breaking through there. And serving first definitely served him well in the opener.
Second set, Edmund to serve. $15 love. 30 love. Love.
This would be a huge start for Edmund. He hasn't had a service game yet that hasn't gone to deuce.
Game Edmund.
That's some way to take the wind
First
out of
game, second
Matusevich's
set.
sails. Clinching a set by a much more straightforward scoreline than what the level of play suggested. And then a love hold to open the second set, clinched with an ace down the line. That is pretty brutal stuff from the Kyle Edmund side of the net.
Yeah, and we heard at the end of the set there, Colin Beecher and Leon Smith both saying to Kyle, good level. It's a good level. You know, it's very difficult to hold yourself to a really high standard all of the time. You can only do what's required. You have an opponent who puts their energy onto the court as well. There was a former opponent of Kyle Edmund, Dan Evans, just warming up because he is in the next match on against Cam Norrie.
First 3-pointer of the day. That's going to be a big one. third time this week, I think, Norrie v Edmonds.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's a rematch of the rematch.
How many times do you play an opponent even 3 times in 1 week? That's
There's a
madness.
big difference, though. And I think Evans has lost his tash.
Love 15.
I think it's gone.
Interesting spot. I got so used to it, I hadn't even noticed.
I don't know. I don't think I got used to it.
It took a
It was
while.
a bit of a stretch.
Not gonna lie.
Matusevich needs to be really careful here. Oh, confirmation. I was right. I only just got a glimpse of it. Looking sharp, though. Yeah, Matusevich really needs to dig in here. He can't let Edmund start getting on a roll in this second set with that big game. He's get the confidence building. He'll start really unloading.
Yeah, that's right. Put the foot down.
30-15.
I wonder who gave him permission, because he lost a bet. That's why it happened in the first place.
He's on 5 days, I think he said. Gotta love that off forehand from Carl Edmund. You know it's coming. Matusevich knew it was coming. You can't do much about it. It's just such a great shot.
Effortless placement.
That's what they mean when they talk about rushing. That is a basic rallying ball. He needs to get depth, he needs to get weight on that backhand cross court. Just make sure that Edmund can't run around to take the forehand on. That's all he needs to do there, but he just forced him to try and do a bit much. He was trying to do some real damage. And then the error came.
Big moment right here. Second serve, break point, set down.
Juice.
And he did enough. Frustrated little slice away of the ball there from Edmund. It's on the front foot.
Advantage Edmund.
Didn't quite feel like that was a forehand he'd chosen. A little bit quick with it again.
Yeah, a bit rushed on that shot behind the serve once again.
Edmund leads by 2
Edmund
games
doing
to
a
love.
really good job of getting the depth back. But yeah, there's a big difference when it comes to decision making. Picking a shot because you feel like you have to go for that. It completely changes your mindset, the way that you play it. It can make you a little bit more tense and a bit rushed. And actually choosing that shot because that's what you want to do. You think it's the most appropriate shot. It's the best possible shot you could deliver at that time. And I think that's the difference in the shot selections we're seeing probably between the two players. Edmund just looks a little more in control of his decision making, saying, right, I want to do this, this is going to work, and just working Matusevich around the court. Nice approach there from Anton. Whereas Matusevich, you can kind of feel that, I've got to go for this, I have to do this. And that's what Judy Murray's been saying to him on the bench. You actually don't have to. The only thing you really have to do is not feed short forehands.
And early on, he was putting a lot of pressure, that kind of pressure, on himself. But now with the scoreboard, there's a bit more of it coming from the other end as well.
15-all.
But it's having that belief that your strike quality is good enough. And I think we've heard it from both benches that it is good enough from Matusevich. It's just about the maintaining that through the points a little longer.
(30-15).
Just feel the shoulders starting to open up of Edmund, looking confident.
(40-15).
He just needs to rein it in a tiny bit, Matusevich. It's difficult to find the balance, but as Judy said to him a few games back, pummel the backhand, keep it in play.
Game Edmund.
That's a big
Edmund
finish.
leads by 3 games to love.
Hasn't missed a first serve this set, Kyle Edmund, and when you've got a delivery as big as his, it really sets you up for finishes like this one.
Yeah, a lot of work for Anton Matusevich to do now. The scores against him, it's looking like this is going to be an Edmund victory, so just needs to try and reset the mind, pick out some specifics to really get stuck into on the court and try and improve.
Good control.
Great control.
But, you know, being assertive.
Yeah.
Control.
Good control. It's like 1-4 in there where you're slightly behind the baseline, just never look like relentless. Good speed, in control, good margin, job done.
The bench very happy with Kyle Edmund's performance so far. Just happy with that level of control, like I was saying. The decision making just seems really authoritative from him.
Yeah, you're never going to see him ecstatic, Kyle Edmonds, but I think he was pretty content with how he's been playing so far in this second set.
Yeah, he's a pretty steady sort of guy on the court, isn't
he? Oh, you like to see that. That's, I think, has been such a benefit to him as he climbed up the rankings. You know, he made that Grand Slam semi-final a couple of years ago. His attitude and the way he just kind of stays within himself a bit. Oh, wow. Can he miss anything right now?
15.
It's got to feel so cruel for Anton Matusevich. He played so well in that opening set. Picked up 2 games, and now Edmund's just finding every mark on the court.
(15-all).
Kick to the backhand. It's the way to go at the moment.
Right. (30-15).
Little mutter about his ball toss there. It's all built on the toss, the serve. Not sure we can blame the wind though, it's dropped a bit.
Savage.
30-14.
Just generates the pace so effortlessly.
Yeah, Matusevich not happy with his serve. Said it was terrible, which I think is a little on the harsh side, but yeah, it could have been better placed. It was a little bit short and allowed Edmund to rip the forehand.
Well, there's life in this match, might hang on the second serve. Oh, well done.
Juice.
But that's what Judy Murray was talking about, is the hustle. It's making him play that extra shot. It's being, what did she say, a pain in the butt.
Yeah, something along those lines. Oh, this was crucial. That would have been a spirit crusher if that had bounced twice. Just getting depth off the scoop back into play. Oh, well, he's dangerous off that wing as well.
Advantage Edmund.
Looking really comfortable now out here, Edmund, not minding these longer exchanges. Matusevich looked like he had something going after getting it onto the backhand wing, but great control and direction from Edmund. Oh, yes, indeed.
Juice.
That was a lifesaver down the line.
Yeah, just opening up a little bit more as well, but it was the right shot. Perfect point, exactly what Judy Murray had been asking for, really working the point, staying in the extra couple of shots, and then this shorter one that he was able to step on, take down the line.
Yeah, great to see that commitment and to see that he wasn't put off by the previous point that Edmund ended with the winner.
It's all about when you use that pace, when that
Advantage
injection
Edmund.
comes in.
Game Edmund.
So resilient. He just doesn't go away.
Edmund leads by 4 games to love.
Yeah, that was good patience from Matusevich, though he hung in well. But just at this stage, now that Kyle has got the set, he's up a couple of breaks, he's feeling nice and good. Just he can kind of deal with it a bit better than maybe at the beginning of the match. Really needed to find that early on to put that pressure on, but now he's feeling quite comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable is the word. He's really settled down, edged the key moments in that first set, and that was all it took. We saw Cameron Norrie wandering over just a moment before there. Might be sensing the end of this one. He's next on centre.
15 love.
Yeah, great control. That one dropped pretty close to the net.
It's all about adding the finishing touches now, I think, for Edmund.
15 all. $30-15.
Matusevich trying to take that return on a little, but just not committing to the shot. Letting the ball hit his racket and fly off a bit.
Well, unbelievably, that was the first second serve that Kyle Edmunds had to hit in this second set.
Yeah, he's giving Matusevich barely any chances now.
Well, that was a loose swing.
Come on. 40-30.
97 miles an hour on that forehand. So fluid. It's the fastest we've seen this week, that forehand.
Yeah, he really flattened off on that, didn't he?
Juice.
Well, game points down, 4-love down on the scoreboard. He might just have relaxed a little bit, Matusevich there. I mean, that forehand, the pace on that was insane.
Yeah, he doesn't look as panicked as he did.
What's that?
Advantage Edmund. Game Edmund.
That is brutal stuff from Kyle Edmunds.
Edmund leads by 5 games to love.
Slamming his foot on the pedal right now. And even with some terrific shots from Matusevich. Hey, Leon, can you hear us?
That's why he's top play. And he's loving the pace.
Can't hear you, Leon.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. How are we feeling about this performance from Kyle? Really dominant second set.
Yeah, well, I came over after the first set, so I was finishing off the match in the other court, and the guys were saying that it was a really high-level first set. Anton playing extremely well, which we know he's absolutely capable of, but from the set of tennis I've seen, Kyle's been really outstanding. I mean, just right on point with everything from serving. His returning has been extremely accurate, very deep on the returns, which is catching Anton off guard. His footwork looks great. You know, he looks like in a really good place today. But I have to say as well, even though the scoreline is 5-love in this set, I think Anton's putting out some really good tennis.
Yeah, he played a really close first set. The scoreline doesn't do it justice. But with Kyle, you know, he played a lot coming into this match. What was the key for him coming into this one? What was the most important thing to get locked down?
The key thing, quite often for someone like the way that Kyle plays, is to get on the front foot. You know, if he serves well, he's going to get a lot of looks on a forehand on the second ball after serve, which means he can dictate and dominate. And that's what it looks like he's been doing. But I also think one of the shots, which is perhaps underrated, is his backhand. I think his backhand is rock solid, both in return and in trade. And we've seen in that last game his backhand line has improved.
Nice stuff. Thanks, Leon.
15 love. Love.
Well, at the moment, Matusevich just needs to take this point by point and get on the board and concentrate on stalling the momentum, because Edmund has been on a roll in the second set.
Yeah, and as Leon was mentioning there at the changeover, there have been some, I mean, really, I think Edmund's been great in all areas. He's returned Matusevich's serve so well as well. Every time Matusevich thinks he's going to be on the front foot off the back of a serve, it's right back at his feet. He's having to back pedal. Again, they're saying a great off forehand from Edmund, as well as the backhand that Leon mentioned. And then, well, of course, we know about the forehand and serve they've been firing.
Okay, Matusevich.
Well, that was much needed.
Edmund leads by 5 games to 1.
It's cruel tennis. I mean, at times this has been so much closer than the scoreline indicates, but Kyle Edmunds has been in imperious form over the last 20 minutes or so, and he will serve for victory. Would be his 5th of the week.
Love.
How difficult is it in this position for Matusevich to stay motivated in this match?
Well, I suppose it's less motivation, it's just more kind of getting a bit deflated with the situation. Even after that first set, Leon said it, Judy said it, we know it was a closer set than a 6-2 scoreline, and it felt that way. But when you're on the receiving end, you look at the scoreboard and you're 2-6 down, and also you're the massive underdog, it can feel pretty harsh.
Love.
Yeah, everything going Edmund's way right now, even the net cords.
It's really tough, I think, just to digest. You've played a good set and you've lost at 6-2. I mean, where are you supposed to go from there? I mean, really, he needed to do more of the same. We have seen more of the same, really, from him. But Edmund has just had answers.
30-15.
I think there were a few moments where he did have that problem with the rushing that came in key games, and Edmund was able to make the breakthrough, and then that settled Edmund a bit more, so he was able to produce to the best of his ability. It's all about the timing, isn't it? About when things happen.
$40-15.
Well, he sets up match points in style, does Kyle Edmund. Just over an hour here on centre court.
Game, same match.
Brutal stuff from Kyle Edmonds.
2 sets still up, 6-2, 6-1.
Every big moment went his way out here today on centre court. And he showed exactly why he has been ranked in the world's top 20. When the pressure rose, he rose as well. Anton Matusevich did his best. He put in a good showing. He really showed flashes of what he's capable of. But after he lost that first set in such brutal fashion, having given so much effort and produced such good tennis, it was going to be difficult to bounce back from that, Cav.
It was just such a difficult match. I mean, to be honest, at the end of the day, it was too good. It was a great effort by Matusevich. He really put everything out on court that he possibly could. But when Edmund's just got answers for everything that you're doing well, it's just incredibly difficult. You know, every time he was getting it away from the forehand of Edmund, which was his job, that's what he needed to do. Well, then the backhand was firing from Edmund. So for Matusevich, a lot to learn from that experience. A great one for him to be out there. Plenty of words of wisdom from Judy Murray. I think she'll be pretty pleased with what he was able to do out on the court. Edmund looked great. Just looked great, really. I mean, that was it. It was a high-level match. It was just a little bit one-sided because there's an awful lot more experience for Kyle Edmund than there is for Anton.
You know, he flashed warning signs, I think, yesterday, Kyle Edmund, with that win over Dan Evans. He was really tough to break through. Evans had got so frustrated by him, and here he just reproduced that kind of form.
Yeah, when you look at the numbers, just really the big difference with the winners. 19 winners for Kyle Edmund, only 6 for Matusevich, and he just couldn't quite get Edmund on the stretch enough of the time. And as I say, even when Matusevich was being patient, he was playing big, heavy shots into the court, Edmund just didn't look like he was going to get knocked off balance. He looked sharp, he looked calm, and it was a very strong performance from Kyle. Matusevich just struggling a little bit in pretty much all areas because Edmund was just that little bit better in all areas.
Well, another great performance from Kyle Edmund. We're going to hear from him now. He's speaking to Nick Lester.
Carl, another day, another win. It's been a busy week for you. Just assess your performance today.
Yeah, good performance. Like probably my best match in terms of control and unenforced errors. So that was good. Started the match like a little bit not finding my way, but it got there quickly, which is something I maybe wasn't able to do in the past matches. So that was nice, and I think that's just from playing matches and building momentum, playing some pressure tennis. When you come out each day, you sort of relax into it a lot better. So today was a good performance, and Anton's dangerous. Obviously played him earlier this week, and it was a lot closer match, so I was pleased with today.
As you say, first set 6-2, but probably overall it felt a little tighter than that at times, but you won the big points. Yeah, like I think that's where I played well, like in the pressure times where it really mattered. He had a break point, I think, at 1-all, saved that, and then when it got to, I'm not really sure, was it 3-all or 2-all? I got my break point, took it, and then actually broke him to win the set. So I really stamped my authority and just sort of powered my way through the second. Overall, you've played a lot of matches. I think you've played every day, singles bar one day.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's things are coming together from your perspective? I know obviously match play is very different to practice. You've had a lot of practice over the last few months.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this week it has got better and better?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went into the other singles tournament back at the Brits feeling really good, like I was playing really well in practice. I felt like I actually started really well, and as the week went along, I didn't quite improve as much. I sort of maintained a bit, and then towards the end just got a little bit not as explosive. So I found this week like I've kind of gone the other way, just started a little bit more slowly and built it up, which is nice. And it's such a difference practicing, and then when you come out and play points, it's such a different feel. And you know, I say it quite a lot, but playing pressure tennis, you can't get that in practice. So I think obviously these matches in this event sort of provide that, which is nice.
Last question, you spent a lot of time here, Carl, over the last couple of months. Do you feel ready to go to the States now? You hungry to get over there and start sort of competing again? Yeah,
I think I am now, really. I think after this week, for sure, I'll be off, because we've done the training. I guess this is like a nice event to play at the end of the train to see where you're at and get some points going. But it would be nice to sort of turn up to a tournament and feel like, you know, tennis is my job, so actually do my job instead of training. So I'm looking forward to it. Because it's sort of the first one back, I think there is like a little bit of unsure how it's going to go, a little bit uncertainty. So it's kind of like looking forward to see how it's going to be and just competing basically. You know, we're used to like getting in a competing mode regularly. So when you don't have it,
Sure.
you feel like a little bit lethargic. So it'd be nice to do that.
Sure. Bit fun to watch. Thanks, Carl.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Cheers.
Well, a very chatty Carl Edmund there with Nick Lester. Happy with how this match panned out. He was presented a bit of a challenge, but he had all the answers early on, and then he really ran away with it. Good run out for the youngster, just 19 years old, Anton Matusevich. I'm sure he will lap up the experience of that match. He's got a big serve and big forehand just like Kyle. I'm sure he would love to be able to use it one day like Edmund is able to. But a win on the board for the Bulldogs. And we have one more singles match up for you today on centre court. Men's match worth a whopping and maximum 3 points. Dan Evans against Cameron Norrie for the third time this week. It's the rematch of the rematch, and we will have that for you very shortly indeed. And we've heard a lot from the captains getting involved. We're hearing them chatting with players at the change of ends as well. But let's hear what their view is on the situation.
And Kiyothawong.
I'm really excited about the captains. I'm really, really pleased with our captains. Obviously, we've got Kiyothawong and Leon Smith, and both are veterans in their captains' roles. So really enjoying and looking forward to having them on the side.
Leon and Anne already talked about like just making it really chill, enjoying ourselves, no pressure. There's nothing to worry about.
And I've experienced Anne as a captain through Fed Cup, and she's a great captain. You know, she listens to her players really well, and it's just great to be on the same team as them.
It will be ultimately a lot of fun, but everyone's competitive. They're all professional athletes. Myself and Leon as captains of the Fed Cup and Davis Cup team, you know, we're definitely in it to win it. In general, everyone's just excited to be out there competing.
Leon Smith.
I know Leon very well in the Davis Cup, and I think it's going to be a good combination for myself especially. I don't really like being told too much information on the court and kind of just play instinctively, and I think they're both up for it and they're competitive and they want to win, so I think we've got two good captains there.
Well, with Leon, I've spent lots of time with him at Davis Cup. I've known him since I was really young. It'd be a similar version to, like, let's say, being Davis Cup, but just on a more relaxed level.
Well, I think it's been a brilliant environment. You know, they've practiced really well together, and it's been great that way. But there's something different when it comes down to matches. We've seen that across some of the tournaments over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, and I think what Jamie's put together is very unique, bridging the men, the women, some of the younger players together. I think it's really exciting.
I would expect, like, my mum's very kind of, I think, diligent in terms of like the preparations and everything. You know, like when she used to do stuff with me, it was like lots of video analysis. She was quite very into the tactical side of things, and I think maybe Greg, because he's played at such a high level, will probably understand more the psychological side of it and the mindset and things. So hopefully it'll be a good mix.
It's really about getting the balance of what to say, when to say, how much to say, and when to say nothing at all. And we're going to have to wing it a little bit, certainly at the start until we get to know everybody. But I think it's, for the next generation of players, it's a chance to rub shoulders with Andy, Dan, Kyle, Jamie, the experienced ones, and for some of that experience hopefully to rub off on them and some of the inspiration. So I think it's a genius stroke from my big boy.
Yeah, I mean, Greg obviously has been a world-class tennis player, made the final of the US Open, so it goes without saying, you know, he'll have great knowledge.
Well, Judy and I worked together in the LTA probably about 7-8 years ago, so we know each other very well. We did talent identification in early 2006, 2007, so we know each other well. We've done Antique Roadshow together as well. I lost in Scotland, but that's another story. But we get on really well, and we're just there to help the players, get to know them, and make it a great event.
Greg might tie you off a bit more when you're not playing so well, but I'm really looking forward to sitting with both, and in singles or doubles. So yeah, I'm genuinely looking forward to the whole event.
Beautiful scene here at the National Tennis Centre, and we will head down to Abby Johnson in a moment or two. Just hold fire. Just keeping them on their toes, Arv. There is Cam Norrie, who has
been on his toes.
He's kept everyone on their toes, hasn't he? Cam has, that's for sure.
Been outstanding this week as Cam. MVP as far as his team is concerned. Unbeaten.
Yeah. He's been excellent. Now we can head down to Abby Johnson.
3 points on the line in this next match on centre court. First up for the British Bulldogs, he's yet to lose a match this week. It's Cameron Norrie. And for the Union Jacks, it's the British #1 himself, Dan Evans.
Been a busy week for this man as well. Dan Evans, who won the Battle of the Brits, the singles event that took place here last month. In good fashion, of course, the event that took place indoors. And he's been front and centre, hasn't he, for the vast majority of the week here. Urging his team, the Union Jacks, on after that slow start they made. Just been dishing it out, hasn't he?
He's enjoyed it, hasn't he? He's really got stuck in. He can give it, but he can also take it as well. He's certainly played this week in very good spirits. Good friends with everyone out here, Dan. Life and soul of the event. Change of ball in recent times now on the ATP, using the Dunlop ball. Used to be head.
I'll stay this end.
So for the third time this week, it's going to be Dan Evans up against Cam Norrie. It's a big one, though, with 3 points on the line here. Norrie having beaten Evans twice already, which is even more impressive considering a month ago he came off second best by quite a margin.
Yeah, that was a hot day, a hot afternoon that he got down on. Battle of the Brits, the initial tournament, 3 weeks ago or so. Wasn't allowed really to play. Watch behind you. Evans was executing his game really well, and then actually to then beat him indoors on the opening day here, and then back it up with an excellent win outdoors. Cam Norrie's turned the tables. It's a good effort by him.
Yeah, and because of that, he's actually only had the one singles win here this week. Struggled a little bit as well in the doubles. Hasn't got quite as many points on the board as you would imagine for a player of his stature, but of course the level of competition here exceptionally high, and nothing wrong with his tour level tennis, that's for sure. Prior to the pandemic striking, up at 28 in the world, that career high. That wonderful tennis he played at the ATP Cup, where he stood out, didn't he?
2 minutes.
So impressive he was in Sydney, those matches against De Minaur and Goffin. And
yeah, it certainly was, and what a thrill to have his tennis idol as his captain that week, Tim Henman. He talks about how clear and concise and how simple his instruction was. So it was a wonderful experience for Dan. And also Tim to get involved there, because he'd been out of the game for a little bit, done a little bit of commentating, but hadn't been on the court with these guys very much. So all in all, it was a huge success for him.
Cam Norrie, 24 years of age. A little chat with Jamie Delgado a couple of days ago, and he was telling me Cam is one of the hardest working players you'll meet. He said he is just so professional in everything he does. He puts it in the gym, he's putting it on the off the court, he's looking at how he can improve, and I think we've seen that this week, haven't we?
Yeah, it does not surprise me at all. You just look at his game style, the way he plays his tennis. It is all about, a lot of it anyway, is about effort and keeping that intensity level nice and high. You know, he's put himself on the line. He played a British tour in between these two events. He won that. And he likes competing. I think he's a type of player that loves to compete. You know, win matches, become match tight. He has proven this week he is very tough to break down. He's come through some tight moments. He was down in that match tiebreak against Ryan Peniston just at yesterday, wasn't it? In those hot conditions, and he was able to squeak through that one. And then a match later, he was out there playing mixed
toss
again.
And deferred choice.
So
Daniel Evans chose ends.
Yeah.
Interesting as far as Norrie goes, that he would defer the choice. Dan looked a bit flat yesterday against Carlo. He obviously suggested as much, didn't he, with the fatigue?
Yeah, I think that's how it came across. I think the legs were a little tired. I mean, we kind of learnt as much at the change of ends, didn't we, when he turned to Kieran and said, feel like I've been hit by a bus. I mean, it's been a lot of tennis, and it's, you know, there's no cruising through matches. It's high intensity. He's played a lot. He's trained a lot as well. So it's going to catch up with you at some stage. The test now for him is, you know, can he find that second wind in this match? Because, you know, he's going to have to play really well right now, because Norrie, he wants to continue this form he's in right now. Not only for himself, but of course he wants to stretch the lead as far as the points are concerned in this one. He wants to
Norrie
give it everything for his team, Bulldogs.
Play.
So Cam Norrie to get this men's singles match underway.
Oh. 15 love. all.
In a career high 41 in the world as Cam. That was in the spring of last year.
He's going to have his opportunities to move forward, Evans. Yesterday was tough against Edmund because he was hitting such a big ball. A little bit more time on the ball this afternoon, so watch out for that move forward. Terrific hands there. Very good. So when he's stretched out at the net, good racket head skills.
Come on. 30 all.
What do you expect Dan to do today differently in terms of just to counter what he's been thrown at? I know he was 5-1 up in the second, wasn't he? So it was close to being a set-all, but anything you expect Dan to do differently today?
I don't think he has to go away from his game style, his game plan too much, to be honest. I mean, he'll lap those sort of errors up and get an early break here. That would go down nicely. But I think he's the type of player that's just got to stick with what works well for him, and that's that's attacking, that's coming forward when he can, using that slice backhand, keeping it low, and forcing Cam to hit up on his forehands and backhands.
Again, Evans.
sense he needed to get some going. And he has come out here fired up.
Yeah, that's the ideal start for Evans, and that will certainly get the juices flowing if the legs are feeling a little heavy this afternoon. You can tell by that reaction. Happy with that. He did a lot of good things the previous time they played, did Norrie. Put him under a lot of pressure, used his forehand very intelligently, spread the play very nicely, side to side for Evans. He used the forehand to come forward as well. 48% of the time actually he went up the line with that forehand, so it'll be interesting to see how much he uses that today, Norrie, because it worked really well. The accuracy was good. You can see in the right court there in the corner, quite close to the line there. Good grouping.
Yeah, that's about 3/4 of yellow balls, isn't it, up the line? I was just tossing them up there, so
yeah,
he did switch it up nicely.
Yeah, and it allowed him to come forward as well, because he was matching Evans with those moves into the forecourt. 9 of 10 points won at the net for Norrie. He's got to remember that.
There it is again.
Love 15.
It's a good amount of whip on that forehand. Nice shape over there, that kind of rainbow arc that you're looking for. Keep it away from the net. Clear your first target. You do that, and you're going to probably get good length with it as well.
All. T15.
6-2 down in the breaker yesterday against Ryan Penniston. So close to going down, but found a way to get through. Penniston's been unlucky over the last month. He's made some big dents in some of these guys without landing a knockout blow.
T15.
Andy Murray will be up next here in the men's doubles alongside Lloyd Glasspool. Matt Little will be joining us in the commentary box as well.
T30.
It's a very tough backhand to get a hold of, isn't it? Because when he hits it as well as that, you're always hitting up on the ball. Always feel like the ball's kind of skidding. This is quite a skiddy court as well.
Yeah, it stays low. You know, it comes onto you very quickly, and trying to get your racket underneath that ball and get it up and make sure you're not compromising on the quality, the strike. It's tough.
got it again.
Juice. Already working well. The line forehand. 90 miles an hour. That particular one. Right out the screws, this one.
There's a lot of
Court
noise.
Position was impressive as well. Sorry, Nick. The previous match, just a little further behind the baseline there, but generating.
Yeah, a lot of noise coming from court 1. Emma Raducanu playing Jodie Burridge.
Advantage Evans. Juice. Advantage Evans.
Move from a deep position from Norrie, wasn't it?
Evans leads by 2 games to
They'll pay
love.
the price for it.
Well, he fancies his forecourt game right now. Sneaking in like that. Confident in that area of his game. He was wise to it, kept it low enough.
Liam Brodie. That's very nice because the little chip was actually short as well, which added to its effectiveness. Very smart play. Oh, that's tremendous. What a dig from Evans.
15-all.
Well, the speed up to it was impressive, but this was incredible racket head control there, just digging that one back, and he managed to keep it so low as well. Wow. Any stiffness in the legs, he's shaken that off.
Come on! 30-15.
Oh, he's got another one. Some good tennis on show here right now.
That was a lung buster for both players. Evans covering every inch of the court once again. Kept his composure on that final ball as well, because the lungs and the legs were probably screaming at him. Nice bit of skill once again. Got the bend that we was looking for on that one, curling that one back in around the outside of the ball. Winning the longer exchanges, enjoying this right now, Evans. Drawing a few errors out of Norrie.
Game Evans. Evans leads by 3 games to love.
What a start from Dan Evans, who's come out here and secured a double break already. 3-love.
Let's go, Bulldogs!
Let's have a look at some of the challenges of what you face against Cam Norrie.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of countering them right now as well, Evans. But one of the reasons why it's difficult to play Norrie is the comparison between the two strokes, the forehands and backhands, the way they come in at you and the way they come through the court as well. You can see with the forehand, it clears the net by some margin and really kicks up high. It challenges your timing, and then versus the backhand that is slightly lower over the net and skids through the court, stays very low. It's tough for opponents to deal with, and it's probably one of the bigger differentials on the tour, Nick, as well, isn't it? The way, the difference of, you know, the ball coming up at you and the ball staying low on the backhand side.
Yeah, in terms of the average difference between the forehand and the backhand, the guys in Hawkeye have been doing some good work for us, and they tell us it's the biggest they can find in terms of the men's game. So stark contrast in the two balls that are coming at you from Cam Norrie on court.
Yeah, a player that actually likes lively conditions, just the fact they can really get that forehand up nice and high, you know, shoulder height, head height, especially for a single-hander. That's tough. And then off the backhand, it's below your knees. And a hit up.
Sorry.
15 love.
Certainly a bit wind assisted down this end. There is, if anything, the wind is coming from behind Evans.
Love.
Of course, Cam had to play late doubles last night as well. He's obviously unbeaten so far this week, but threat already here. He, of course, well used to the off-court noise, the surroundings, having played college tennis. If ever you've watched some of those NCAA matches, there's a heck of a lot going on over there. A lot of banter, a lot of sledging that goes on, a lot of noise as well.
40 love. T15.
Physio. Okay. Just a little central approach. Physio's been called for. He's asked for the physio anyway. Norrie.
Yeah, he did go for his lower back or sort of hip area by the look of it a couple of games ago.
Game Evans.
And that's drifted along as well, so...
Evans leads by 4 games to love.
Dan Evans in complete control of this opening set here after just 4 games. Hawkeye telling us that the Norrie forehand has lost a bit of pace off.
Yeah, 7 mph compared to his last match a couple of days ago. I think this might be done and dusted.
It is. Not wanting to take any risk. Understandable. That is disappointing. Let's see, even Dan Evans is a little disappointed by that as well.
That's a real shame for Norrie. I really hope that this isn't too serious and he's pulled the plug here to take no risk.
Yeah, you push yourself to the limits. You have. You know, so I feel like it's cracked.
It doesn't. I don't know. I've never felt this before. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, due to injury, Mr. Norrie can no longer play.
Straight to dock. Push for imaging. See what they say. Push for imaging. Yeah. That's the right thing. Call it. Done. Sure, isn't it? Nothing. Otherwise you wouldn't go to. Yeah, you wouldn't even walk. Yeah. Fracture, you wouldn't.
I feel just like tentative on it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you can't go 100%, you're never going to win this match. Why would you bother staying here another hour? Yeah. You're only going to get it worse and another chance to win.
Movement is absolutely everything for Norrie, so if he's not able to move and he's in pain and he's in danger of making it worse, it's worse. It's certainly not worth the risk.
So, disappointing that is for Cam Norrie, ultimately, who's been outstanding this week, of course, unbeaten so far, but obviously felt something and felt as though it was too uncomfortable to continue, and let's hope that he can get some diagnosis and get himself fit again sooner rather than later. So, Saturday's order of play looks like this so far. It's been a swift day, isn't it, with a win for Katie Boulter over Beth Gray for the loss of just 2 games. Kyle Edmund was far too strong for Anton Matusevich, especially in the second set, ran away with things there. So what we have to come, not before 4:30, it's going to be a couple of hours. Andy Murray and Lloyd Glasper will take on Joe Salisbury and Kyle Edmund, and then we'll see Jamie Murray and Heather Watson in action up against Liam Brodie and Harriet Dart, the big mixed doubles. Mixed doubles has been so much fun to bring the curtain down on the play every evening, and let's hope we get more of the same later on tonight. You can see the overall score there, an 8-point difference so far for the Bulldogs. Matches at the moment on the court number 1 right now. Jan Chowinski came through for the Jacks against Alistair Gray, 10 points to 4. Jodie Burridge and Emma Raducanu. It's set all right now. 4-1 to Burridge, I can tell you, in the match breaker. And Barnett and Nichols up against Dart and Gray will be the third and final match of the day over on Court 1 today in this penultimate day of the Battle of the Brits. Team tennis, St James's Place, of course, Wealth Management providing the title sponsorship. Hope you can join us. We'll be back in about an hour and a half from now to see a former world #1.